Judd Zolgad, Jeff Dubé, Judd and Dubé, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. weekdays, 1500 ESPN. And we just concluded, Jeffrey, our last Ventline of the season. The Vikings beat Detroit. They will now draft 8th overall. The Metrodome is closing. The quarterback situation, it's uncertain. The head coach probably fired tomorrow. What fun this has been.
It has been. What a ride. What a ride. But at least we found out that Patterson is as good as we thought he was, hoped he was. Well, I'm trying to come up with some positives. That's it. The list is over. No, the list is over.
What are they?
No, I tried.
They didn't use him until too late in the season.
No.
The quarterback situation remains a complete mess. All right,
first round, our 10-year left tackle looks like, who knows now? I mean, he's a question mark.
Who knows? How big of a step back? Let's start with this. How big of a step back is this season? You go 3-13, then you go 10-6 and make the playoffs, and now you have this season. How big of a step back is this season in the overall spectrum of what the Vikings were hoping to accomplish a couple of years ago?
Not as much as the numbers would indicate, just because we know now that the difference between 3-13 and 10-6 isn't as great as you used to think it was. The one thing, I mean, I think we pretty much knew last year that Ponder wasn't going to be your franchise quarterback. So I mean, it's not like that failure has kicked us in the whats this year. It's just, to be honest with you, if they get the right coaching staff in place in the offseason, you could look at this year as an important turning point. Who knows? I mean, you go up and down in this league.
Yeah, when they go out and try to fill needs this offseason, we're all going to talk about quarterback, and who knows what happens there. They could bring back Castle and have him start as a temporary guy and say, you know what, we'll be okay, we won't be great. But you got what? You got to find another quarterback or two, but certainly at least one corner. You've got to get help at linebacker. Jared Allen's gone. That defensive line this season was sort of up and down. So defensive line, you look around and you have so many positions of need that are either going to have to be filled through the draft, free agency, and oh, by the way, Rick Spielman doesn't like to build through free agency. So if you do get guys through that means, it's going to be probably low-level guys.
So what do you do about the offensive line? I mean, you just try to get on them in OTAs? I mean, what do you do? I mean, because you pretty much have the guys you want, for the most part.
All right, let's go through them. Let's go through them, all right?
God, we're going to be here forever.
No, we're not going to.
Go ahead.
We'll keep this short.
I'll talk fast.
Matt Khalil, he's got to improve.
Oh, my God, he's your 10-year left tackle.
But if he doesn't come back, you're screwed, for lack of a better term.
No,
he's got to come back.
Yeah, and when you say come back to the form of a year ago.
Yes. He should be a Pro Bowl player.
Absolutely.
Charlie Johnson might be back, might not be back, but I contend you can find guards.
And I just
you agree with that?
Well, I like the name Chaz, so keep him around.
He's a good guy, too.
Yeah, he is.
John Sullivan was coming off knee surgery. And it was that whatchamacallit?
The microfracture?
Microfracture.
Yeah, and then Dominican Suit took him out early.
So that's a big deal. So you hope John Sullivan simply wasn't healthy and comes back healthy. Okay. Right guard Fusco, I think he can play the position. I think.
Well, it's not a hard position.
Here's the guy that scares me the most because I'm convinced Khalil can come back. Phil Loadholt. You just signed him to an extension, and he's starting to look really old.
Well, the thing is...
And he's a huge dude.
He was kind of enigmatic his first few years in the league. And then all of a sudden he had the one big contract year, and he gets the money.
I really liked him year one, and then I thought he started to regress a little bit, and since then I don't know what to make of him, and he got a lot of money. Because of how much he's getting, he scares me the most.
Yeah, and he's just been so in and I think he's been so in and out in his career. I get the money because the Bears wanted him, and if you wouldn't have paid him, he would have been gone. But he didn't do anything until his contract year to justify it. And I always get worried about guys who turn it on contract.
Let me give you this scenario before we get done here.
Too, so I mean,
let me give you this scenario. Yeah. If I went up to you in March and I said, Phil Loadholt's about to sign with the Chicago Bears, and you're going to lose him. But you say to yourself, okay, we're going to lose Loadholt, we're going to let him walk, and we're going to have Antoine Winfield in our defense this year. And Antoine's old, by the way, so he's aging.
Yeah.
For this season, would you have, for this program, would you have said, I'll take the trade-off and I'll let Phil walk, or would you have said, for the long term?
I'd pay Loadholt.
So you would have made the same decision?
I would have. I would have
been very torn by this.
I mean, Winfield, you knew was a one and done. You knew this was his last year. I mean, Loadholt's somebody you could see a pretty nice future from a pretty important position.
But what started to scare me is he's looking old to me and he's not old.
But he hadn't in March. He didn't look old in March.
No, I realize that, but what I'm saying now...
we flashed backwards.
But what I'm saying is now, going up to now...
Not playing by the rules, Joe.
That's what scares me. Khalil's got to improve.
You set the rules.
The guards are the guards. The center has to improve. The right tackle.
So what do you do? I mean, in all honesty, you just tell these guys you got to do better? I mean, is that good enough? You get on OTAs and say, you sucked last year and you're good enough? Well,
yes.
Loadholt,
you do, yeah.
Right.
You're paying him too much.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you don't bail on him. But
release him.
Well, and I guess it depends on the coaching staff, too. I mean, you got to get us some fire under a guy, kind of an offensive line coach.
All right,
Ticey.
Oh, yeah, Ticey's a great offensive line coach.
And
he's on the market.
He is.
Imagine
he's available. He's a hell of a guy.
Ticey coming back here.
He can get you some.
How about Ticey as your OC and Chili as your tight ends coach?
Oh my God! What do you?
We're done.
Can Denny be the special teams coach?
Nah, I never talk about that. I never talk about that.
Taking the high road.
All right, let's do this. Let's be done with this. Quarterback, you're asking why haven't we addressed it? We addressed it last week. We're going to address it a ton. We address it all the time. The quarterback situation here is a mess, and I'm not just talking about with your Vikings.
But at least we know it. I mean, at least we're not Dallas clinging to.
Hey, Gopher fans, you got problems too at quarterback.
Here we go.
TCF Bank Stadium. Do you think there might be next season? Real quick, TCF Bank Stadium. Will there be any worse quarterback play in one stadium in one season potentially than there might be?
Well, you know what? I think we're a little hard on Mitch Leidner. I think if they give him the opportunity, I think he's got a chance to be.
They lost to Syracuse.
I know.
All right, we're done.
I can't be positive.
Viking Ventline
you're so negative.
Is a wrap for the season. Hopefully these videos aren't, but obviously they won't focus on the Vikings on Sunday since the season is mercifully over. The show is Judd and Dubé, Zolgad and Dubé, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. weekdays, 1500 ESPN. Thanks for coming to 1500ESPN.com.